Welcome to StarWatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. What if one pop idol could change the entire culture of racing in China? Zhang Zhendong, the man who conquered the tracks and became a legend of Chinese motorsport, has just spoken out about Wang Yibo. And what he said has the internet in shock. Could an actor, singer, and dancer really help transform China's racing scene? And maybe inspire a new generation of dreamers? Stay tuned, because this story isn't just about racing. It's about courage, legacy, and the unstoppable power of passion. Zhang Zhendong's voice carries the weight of history, the kind of authority that only years of dedication, sacrifice, and victory can build. To the untrained ear, his words about Wang Yibo might sound simple, but to those who know the world of motorsport, they strike a deep chord. Zhang is not just a racer. He is a symbol of what Chinese racing has become after decades of struggle and determination. Born in Shanghai in 1992, he began training at just 8 years old, long before racing was ever seen as a viable dream in China. His rise to fame was not built on glamour or hype, but on grit, sleepless nights, and an unwavering belief that Chinese drivers could stand shoulder to shoulder with the world's best. When Zhang finally became the first four-time champion in CTCC history, many believed he had reached the peak of his career. Yet today, when he speaks about Wang Yibo, his tone is not one of superiority but of quiet admiration. In his eyes, Yibo has done something few professional racers could achieve. He has made the sound of engines and the scent of fuel resonate with millions who had never stepped near a racetrack. To Zhang, Wang Yibo is not simply a celebrity experimenting with a new hobby. He is a bridge, connecting the fierce discipline of professional racing with the excitement of modern pop culture. Zhang's reflection reveals something profound about both men. He sees in Yibo the same hunger that once drove him, that fearless need to prove oneself in a field ruled by precision and danger. While others view racing as a stage, Yibo treats it as a calling, and that sincerity earns Zhang's respect. Behind every lap, every burst of speed, Zhang recognizes the heart of an artist who understands rhythm, timing, and emotion, only now expressed through steel and speed rather than song and dance. Perhaps that is why Zhang calls Yibo's influence a cultural ignition. It is not merely about racing. It is about awakening something within the youth of China, a belief that passion, no matter its form, can become a force for change. In that sense, Zhang Zhendong and Wang Yibo are two sides of the same coin, one forged in the fire of experience, the other fueled by a new generation's flame. When Wang Yibo first stepped onto the racetrack, few could have imagined how profoundly his presence would reshape the perception of motorsport in China. What began as a personal passion soon turned into a national awakening, as millions who had never paid attention to engines, speed, or endurance suddenly found themselves captivated. His influence extended far beyond the roar of the circuits. It traveled through phone screens, short clips, and viral moments that reached every corner of social media. Platforms like Douyin and Xiaohongshu became digital grandstands where the next generation discovered the thrill of racing not as distant spectators, but as participants in a growing cultural movement. Children began attending racing workshops, holding miniature steering wheels with dreams larger than their bodies. Families who once dismissed racing as reckless now watched competitions together, discussing safety, focus, and teamwork. Schools started inviting guest speakers to talk about the technology and science behind motorsport, linking physics lessons to the idea of speed and precision. The influence of one artist-turned-racer had turned an elitist sport into an accessible symbol of modern aspiration. Wang Yibo had managed to bridge a gap that once seemed impossible, the divide between pop culture and professional sport, and in doing so, he had given China's youth a new language for ambition. Zhang Zhendong, observing from the sidelines, understood the gravity of this transformation. He had spent decades watching racing confined to a niche community, celebrated by few and misunderstood by most. Yet now, as he saw teenagers quoting racing statistics and sharing clips of pit crews in action, he realized that something much deeper was taking place. Wang Yibo had made racing emotional again. Human, relatable, and exciting. Through his journey, people no longer saw helmets and cars as barriers, but as metaphors for courage, control, and self-discovery. This new generation of speed is not defined by lap times or trophies, but by the hearts it has awakened. It is a generation that sees the racetrack not just as a place for competition, but as a stage for creativity and connection. Wang Yibo has given racing a pulse, a rhythm that resonates with anyone who has ever chased a dream, fallen, and dared to rise again. What once belonged to a few now belongs to everyone, and in that inclusivity lies the true victory. As the racing phenomenon spread across China, Zhang Zhendong began to observe a delicate balance forming, the tension between hype and heritage. To him, the surge of enthusiasm surrounding Wang Yibo's rise was both inspiring and unsettling. It was exhilarating to witness motorsport finally stepping into the national spotlight, yet he worried that the glitter of fame might overshadow the grit that built the sport's soul. Zhang had seen it before. The way street dance once captured the imagination of millions, only to become a commercial spectacle stripped of its raw authenticity. And now he wondered, could racing suffer the same fate? He admired Wang Yibo's sincerity, but feared that not everyone shared that same purity of intent. Crowds cheered, hashtags trended, and brands rushed to associate themselves with the new face of Chinese racing. The danger, Zhang believed, lay in confusing popularity with progress. Real progress required endurance, patience, and respect for the craft, qualities that could not be condensed into a viral clip or a perfectly edited highlight reel. Racing, at its core, was not about showing off speed but understanding the discipline that comes with it. It was about the invisible struggle, the hours of preparation, the silence before ignition, the acceptance of risk in pursuit of excellence. Zhang's reflections carried both wisdom and hope. He acknowledged that cultural transformation always begins with noise, but it endures only through purpose. The current fascination with racing might be loud, but if nurtured correctly, it could evolve into something timeless. He envisioned schools teaching racing principles as part of physics and engineering programs, not as entertainment but as education. He dreamed of young drivers who would enter the track not for fame but for mastery, guided by the same spirit that once drove him to defy limitations. What touched Zhang most was seeing how Wang Yibo's journey had inspired young people to think differently about success. They no longer saw fame as the destination but as a doorway to meaning. In this reflection, Zhang found comfort. Perhaps hype was not the enemy of heritage after all. Perhaps it was the first spark. What mattered was whether that spark could be sustained, turning temporary fascination into lasting reverence. In that quiet hope, Zhang understood that legacy begins not with the loudest applause, but with the hearts willing to listen beyond the noise. In the end, Zhang's message isn't about fame or followers. It's about the heart that keeps the engine alive, the courage to stay on track even when the noise fades. He said, "Trends come and go, but true passion, that's what builds legacy." For Wang Yibo, that legacy has already begun. He's proving that passion can unite two worlds, art and speed, and turn them into something greater than either alone. Because sometimes, the loudest victories don't happen on the stage. They happen on the track, in the silence between two heartbeats, when you refuse to give up. This isn't just the story of two men. It's a reflection of anyone who dares to chase something bigger than themselves. And maybe, just maybe, that's the true spirit of racing. Thank you for watching today's story on StarWatch Now. If you felt inspired, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with someone who needs a spark of motivation today. Because passion is contagious, and we're here to keep it alive. See you in the next video. Stay inspired, and keep moving forward.